Hello, love. Welcome to the Librinky. My name is Elene, and this is day 5 of the Winter Meditations with Mama Aset. All timely yet timeless winter meditation, she's saying, even though we're calling this winter, meditations, essentially what we are doing is harnessing the energies around this time of the winter solstice here, where I am physically on Mama Gaia. But these meditations are moments of deep tranquility and inner reflection that can be timeless for whenever you find this message. Okay, 44 on the counter. As I say that, thank you, beautiful family. Thank you if you are finding this video for the first time, or it is finding you, for being here, and more importantly for being here incarnated on Mama Gaia at this time. Okay, I'm gonna get right into it. She kept on bringing the number 88 through. She's been doing this since yesterday, and then I saw it when after it had come through the message. I think I saw it a couple of times when I was out and about doing stuff throughout my day. She wants to speak a little bit to the number 88. Two things here before we get into the message as well that she wants to bring through. The 8 representing leadership, the energy of leadership, of taking charge. This is a theme that she has brought through pretty much since the beginning of these meditations. Being our own sovereignty and sovereign is what I'm hearing her say. The 8-8 is also connected to August 8th. And whatever, interestingly enough, she's showing me that I'm seeing the Strength card, but I'm also seeing the Justice card, because in certain keys in the tarot, in certain decks, for example, in the Tarot de Marseille, that deck, traditionally, Justice is the 8, 222 on the counter. Interesting. Okay, so she wants to speak to that as well a little bit. She wants to speak really to the overlapping themes, energies, words that we can get in seemingly different things. That's kind of where she's going with this message. And there's something about the 8 that looks like a lemniscate. Where's that? Oh my God. Okay, so, writing the number 88, right, looks like a lemniscate. What's really interesting, though, is that the lemniscate often is written, the infinity symbol. Oh my goodness, wow. Almost did that completely the opposite of what I'm used to. That lemniscate symbol is often written horizontally, but she's emphasizing the up and down nature of this, like the letter I, connected to heaven and earth, in terms of how we understand in a kind of almost three-dimensional way. Interesting. Okay, so heaven and earth, but we also need to understand she's going back to the toroidal field of expansion in this direction as well, and that it's both. What she really wants to emphasize here is that this is the symbol that she's giving me right now. It almost looks like a flower. It looks like an equilateral cross as well, which is often referred to as the true cross, okay? Where the horizontal and the vertical are equal. And this goes back to divine union again. This is connected to the energy of divine union, very much like the Vesica Pisces is connected to that as well. I'm hearing proportion and disproportion, and this is one of the things that she's going to touch upon here in this particular message too, okay? Having a very keen, fine-tuned, sensitive awareness around where you are experiencing, not just within yourself, but within the world around you, disproportion and proportion. Okay, And on that note, I'm going to start with the messages that she's bringing through. I'm working with this rough piece of Sunstone for this particular message, being guided to work with this representing the energies of the sun and also our own inner light, which is really the outer light as well. Okay. Again, she's bringing in so much here that is on a total spectrum. A lot of this is connected to unity consciousness, okay? And having the best way that I can describe it and how she's bringing it through energetically is a much deeper, integrated, it's at the same time very expanded, but very concentrated energy of understanding around spectrums of energy, unity, but also not losing sight. She's just saying of the bigger picture, and what unity truly represents. Okay, she's not. Okay, and she also wants to really affirm here that unity does not equal a complete lack of boundaries. Healthy, integrated ones is what she's showing me. She's showing me the energy of foundations, right? And interestingly enough, I'm hearing, not built on shoddy ground, which reminds me immediately of the tarot, of the Tower card in the tarot. And what's interesting is that when you add up 8 and 8, you get 16, which is key 16, which is the tarot. Oh my God, the Tower card in the tarot. Okay, so on that note, I'm just going to hold this, bring the energy and the frequency of this Sunstone into this reading. And into this session, and read my notes here. I heard her say, led by the light, blinded by the light, two sides of the same coin. The light is the coin, consciousness, the light. Take whatever resonates for you from that and whatever you are interpreting. And please just consider this for a moment. Don't overread into it, is what she's saying. The energy here of stream of consciousness, thinking, she's adding, and our practice of stream of consciousness, giving me the analogy here of writing, flowing, not editing or overthinking what you're writing or what your expression or what you're expressing, and feeling into the liberation of that. The liberation of this process of not always self-editing or self-critiquing what it is you're expressing. And then she says, criticism, I heard, is a cancer, and it can be a cancer when it is wielded disproportionately. That word coming in again, disproportionately. And this is something we're in the process of remedying. This is part of the quote-unquote ascension process. Consider this an integral part of the ascension process. All right. So a lot of the times this ascension process, this phrase gets thrown around, okay? And I mean, rightly so, because we are in the process of an expansion of consciousness here on Mama Gaia. This is affecting, I'm hearing, the world over and the world's over. So this is having a cosmological impact. It's a galactic energy that's resonating, because if we come back to unity consciousness and the energy that everything is connected, it's reverberating across the cosmos is what she's showing me. So we need to understand that this big kind of phrase, it can almost get too big for our britches in a way. When we hear ascension process, when we hear light code, integration, neutrinos, like all this kind of these words and this language that can get almost technical at times or scientific. What she's saying is feel into the energy of it and don't trip up on the words. Feel into the energy of it and don't trip up on the words. And I keep on hearing liberation, liberation, liberation. Liberate yourself from tripping up over the details. This is something that she brought through, I think it was like on the third day, I can't remember, about the when we kind of overcomplicate things, bringing it back to simplicity. And this starts with not self-editing ourselves, criticizing ourselves immediately in any way when it comes to what is coming to us intuitively, what we are experiencing, what is flowing through us energetically. And one way that we can do this is through a stream of consciousness practice, meaning whether it's you simply, and always doing this in a place of a sacred space, whatever that means to you, a quiet space where you feel safe, setting up that space for yourself and your connection to your own divinity and your true authenticity. And whether this is, because she's giving me the analogy of writing, whether this is like a stream of consciousness writing, where if you've ever, practiced writing before, right? I remember being told this by some very great, beautiful teachers when I was learning creative writing, that you simply, very much like automatic writing, interestingly enough, is you just go with it. You don't sit there and look, oh God, is the syntax of this sentence right? What am I saying here? It doesn't even fucking make sense. If I'm like repeating myself over and over again, you just allow it to flow out of you. And the funny thing is that even when you begin to do that, when you begin to self-criticize or start to have the nudge, the urge to edit, I should say, just be aware of it, acknowledge it, and go, I see you, it's there, I'm going to keep on writing. That's how you begin to transmute this, where you acknowledge that that's happening, you see it, and you can even start to write it down, like literally at 12:24 on the counter, okay? Where you start to write it down and go, oh, here I go again. Self-editing, great, that's wonderful. Let's get back to what I was talking about in the first place. Let's get back to what I was writing about in the first place. It's like, yeah, I see you there. What this does is this opens up a conversation with that aspect of yourself. And a lot of the times these are dysfunctional, but also she's saying they can be functional aspects of the ego in this particular world. Because there are like coping mechanisms or protective mechanisms that we've developed in the self-editing that perhaps we needed to use in a time or place, and she's specifically saying the past here, in order to protect ourselves, to not cause a fuss, to not make a mess of something. It is the awareness around that is key. When are you doing it in a way where you are actually doing it at the detriment to your own self? And that's how we begin this process of liberation, through the awareness of this and the practice in a sacred space of not doing this anymore. Because this is a way that we are also kept from direct connection with our own divinity and divinity at large. Divinity, the one, okay? Because I'm going to end it on this note. One synchronicity that she gave to me this morning was very specifically around those of us who are quite, let's just say, far along enough in our journey with our own spiritual practices, the connection to our intuition, for example, being guided by the energies that support us, our spirit guides, our teams, okay? Where there can still be this little voice, and it might not even be, it's not even really yours, truly. It could be a family member that says something to you. It could be a friend. It could be something you see. It could be something you overhear. It could just be that little tiny shadow aspect still turning its head in some way, doubting. A little twinge of doubt where we think, like, am I really seeing this? Is this really real? Am I really feeling this? Am I crazy? Am I going crazy? Okay. And there's a lot around that statement that you could spend a very long time extrapolating. But feel into the energy and the frequency of what I am saying, okay? And the energy of what she is bringing through, and connecting back to the light that is you. The light, the consciousness, the awareness that is you. And she's specifically pointing me, again, to the center of our being, which is our hearts, okay? Connecting to that and allowing yourself to flow with that in a sacred space. And remember that this is an integral part of the ascension process, 1616. Again, tower energy, all right? Okay, so the way she wants me to end it on this note by asking you a question, essentially, where, and remember that for some of us, we've already done a lot of work on this, right? But there's going to be more layers of that onion popping off, because energy is also shifting. Things are shifting, right? So where might you be at some much deeper level? At this point, she says, allowing that disproportionate wielding of criticism to come in. Okay. I'm going to leave it there. Thank you, Mama Iset, for being here with us, for sharing your time and your energy with us in this space. There's something else, hold on. She's saying to give yourself this gift. And she's also pointing me to the fact that a lot of times we have a practice of, you know, when we want to go in and open up sacred space, we will clear our energy field, clearing it of anything, let's say, that's not ours and not in alignment with our highest and greatest good. We also need to understand that sometimes these practices that can be dysfunctional in nature, these consciousnesses that can be dysfunctional in nature, that they are actually us, that they come from some kind of, going back to this coping mechanism, that they can come in that way. And we trip our own selves up around that. And also remember too that as sensitive, energetic beings, we can also very easily pick up on those things when they truly, at a deeper level, are not ours, but we could be picking them up from the people or the energies around us. Okay? Again, she's saying food for thought. Food for thought. She likes to speak in terms of nourishment, okay? Like a mom, like a mother. Okay. Thank you, Mama Iset. I thank you, we thank you for being here, for sharing your time and your energy with us in this space, sending you so much love wherever you are, in love and liberation, always.